Hi guys, it's Veronica. This is just going to be a really quick video because I need to get out of here. I'm meeting my mom and we're going Christmas shopping. Yay, it's holiday season. And for once I'm actually kind of excited about it. But I had to wait for the mail to come because I was waiting for this to come in. I knew it was going to come. And now I want to take it with me even though I won't be able to work on it. I want to stay here and play with cards all day and go through this book. Okay, this is Tarot on Earth from our own Tom Benjamin. And I am so excited about this book. Before I get into it, I will say I've been on lately I've been on a companion book kind of thing. The books I've been reading are my Baba companion guides. And I was just emailing someone today talking about this, that I think all of these books together are so sexy. I love it. I love the way these books feel. I love that they're flexible, but the covers are very durable. I like the pages are smooth, and every one of the books just brings really good things to the table. Alice Tarot is one of my favorites, and what I love in the back of the book, they have an abridged version of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass, which I wasn't as familiar with. But what I like is, as the point in the story where the card comes into play, they put the insert of the card there because the cards aren't in order, with the deck. But what I did is I was going through the story, I took the cards and I put them in the order that they appear in the stories, and that was really cool. So I was going through, I had my Alice one here. This is the oldest one, which is a little dirty, but my Bohemian Gothic. This is the one I need a new one because it's the only one I put tape where that got ripped, but some of my pages are coming out in the back. All the back pages are gone, so I need to get another one of these. But the reason I got them out was for my Flower Oracle guidebook, because I'm going back through that, and the Fantastic Menagerie. Here's the Fairy Tale Tarot. It's probably the one that's almost the least used in my Baba decks. I haven't really dove into that yet. And then this is the least used, the Bohemian Cats. I only have one edition of this one because I wanted it, and the one with the gold border was kind of fun, but I don't know, animals dressed up as humans doing human things can kind of freak me out. So Tarot Prague, the new edition with the metallic overlay, I love. So these books were already like what I was going through, but I'm setting them aside because I'm diving into this baby and I'm going to go through it this weekend, and then I'll go through it again. I wish I had this book when I was learning the cards. I'm only now getting into numerology, and that's one of the first things that he talks about. So I would suggest, I know people are talking about getting the ebook, and that's great, but I would suggest getting the physical book because of the exercises and the worksheets he has. Now here he goes through, this is what I'm learning right now, is the basic numerology. I learned the cards, and I can use a deck of playing cards, but I put my own tarot associations with them. Like the Five of Cups is always the Five of Cups to me, whatever deck. But I do want to learn this way. I think my meanings might have been just a little bit different if I'd learned this way, but I want to see what those differences would be, and I want to be familiar with them. And then he has a great thing where you go through the numbers and the light and shadow of it, and then he goes through the elements in a deck and then putting them together with the numbers. So I cannot wait to work through this. I love the way he sees the quartz. He has a very strong handle on the quartz. I do as well, but I want to add his knowledge onto what I've worked through with the quartz. And I just can't wait. I can't wait to do it. One thing I love is, first of all, the cover feels really, really good. Okay, I'm a book nerd. I'm a book weirdo. And I always had a book on me. Before you had an iPad where you could put all your books together, in one place. And I'm probably going to have to carry this with me today, even though I won't have a chance to work with it, because I feel that old longing of having to have a book on me. So, my friends called me Weirdo Book Girl before they even knew who I was. I have a couple of friends who are laughing at a girl in the movie theater They're like, oh, you should have seen her. Weirdo book girl. She came in with this big ass book. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That was the Memoirs of Cleopatra, and I didn't know it was like such a weird thing to go to the movies by yourself and read a book. Like, I don't care what people think, but then when you hear someone say it, and you're like, wow, I really looked that bad. They thought I was kidding too. They're like, you're not weirdo book girl. I'm like, yeah, I am. I saw that movie that night, and I brought the Memoirs of Cleopatra with me. So I'm weirdo book girl. Fuck you. So I'm going to go back to being weirdo book girl. I'll carry this around today. So I also like that, I like the font he used for the chapter titles and for the table of contents. But what I really like is the font is big enough that, yeah, I need my glasses to read it, but I can read it comfortably. That's why I had to go to my iPad with a lot of books, because if I've been reading for several hours, I have an extra little light that I'd have to use that I clip on a book, because it just my eyes get tired. So it's not like, you can read it from across the room, but it's a nice, comfortable font, and there's plenty of room in the exercises. There's plenty of room to write stuff. So I am diving into this one as soon as I get back home tonight. I can't wait. I did order the Marshmallow Marseille, and it's on its way. But until that comes in, what I'm going to use with it is my Polka deck. This deck is so cute. Here's the box. I'll do a video on it if you want, but I know that Christine and Celeste has a great one. That's how I discovered it. Tom has one too, I think, and Simon from Two Spirit, I think, has this deck. It's a wicked Marseille. I have some Il Mangelo Marseilles, but this one is my favorite, and I'm really attracted to that marshmallow one that's coming in. But it's got a dark edge, but it's very funny. This is the High Priestess. One of the first things I liked. It looks like the Hierophant, but it's the High Priestess. And I like it because, to me, the Empress and the Emperor are connected. You control your world, you create your world. Well, the High Priestess and the Hierophant are another pair to me. The High Priestess being, it's the secret, the inner knowledge that only you know. But for me, it's always like your true personal religion. I was raised Christian. It's still a big part of my life, but I'm attracted to Buddhism and tarot, and although I don't think tarot is a religious thing, but it's definitely helped me in my journey. So I know what I believe, and that's deep inside of me, and that's a very personal thing. But the Hierophant is your outer spiritual life, your ethics, your moral code, and how you live it. And that's not the way I was traditionally taught the Hierophant with, its institution or law. But it's the way it's always come out to be. And even a traditional looking Hierophant that looks all pious and all that, it fits. A lot of times that card comes up, and there's people that we put on a pedestal maybe, or may look like they live one way, but their motives and their hearts really, like what fruits do they really show? So that's a tangent, sorry, but it just, like, when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, it's the Hierophant. No, it's the High Priestess, and I liked that. So this is some of these pictures make me think of the Haunted Mansion at Disney World, and there's the Hierophant. So, and like in the Lovers, like, he really got stabbed by Cupid. I just love this Marseille deck. Look at that Hermit. It's a great strength card. This is the second time I'm showing a Hanged Man. That's like a Hanged Man this week. The Death card is my card, like my personal card. But the Temperance card is the card that I've chose to work with, like a lifelong card to work with, because it's balance is an issue in my life always, and always will be. So while I love the Major Arcane, that's so funny. Oh, and I always have to look at my 3 celestial cards. The Star, the Moon, and the Sun. If I like these lined up, then I usually really like a deck. And these, I love all 3. And look at that Sun card. Instead of the creepy baby, it's these ladies wearing sunglasses. Love it. But then when you get into the pips, now here's the quartz in the swords. Look at that Queen of Swords. She's badass. What I like about these pips, they are semi-illustrated. They don't always have the number, like there's not always going to be 6 swords or 7 swords. There's a small number there. But I like the deep green in the swords. And there's that pink ribbon, which knowing this deck, it's probably intestines. That goes through all of them. That looks beautiful. So there's the swords. And the world card got there. And look at the reds and the wands. They're just beautiful. And the quartz. They are messed up. That Knight of Wands is really messed up. And I know that's a wand, but it looks like a whip. And then the cups. It's beautiful, deep purple color. And then the Pentacles. Even though I love the cups, I'm a water girl, I'm a Queen of Cups. The Pentacles, probably my favorite suit. Just like I'm attracted to Temperance because Pentacles are most grounded and well-rounded. So beautiful blue color. And this is the deck I'll be using with the book until I get my Marshmallow Marseille in. And I love it when people from our community put something out because I love supporting creators and artists that I know or that I look up to and love. And it is especially as awesome when it's kick ass like this is. Even just flipping through it. One of the things I love is it's written like he speaks. And if you watch his videos, which you should, I could just listen to him talk about anything. Well, I like the fact that it's his voice. Now, not his voice. He needs to do an audiobook so you can hear his posh voice read the whole book out to you. But I already know I'm going to love it. I can't wait to go through it. And after I do, I will do another video telling you what I loved about the deck, how it worked with me, what I learned, all that. I just, I like the whole basis behind it, tarot in a practical way. I started out with tarot completely psychological, and even though that's my main drive and focus, I am very interested in other things that tarot can do, and this book is, I'm really, really excited about it. So this is the favorite thing to come out of our community lately, other than the other thing I really loved was Kelly in the Truth and Story, her Lenormand. Because I don't do a lot of Lenormand, I'm all tarot. I just can't get enough of tarot. But if I get a Lenormand deck out, that's when I get out, because done with the colors and there's so much feeling in it, I'm instantly attracted to those cards, and it makes even much more sense to me. So, yay! There's that. As soon as I leave, I'm going to carry it with me. Did I mention that the cover feels really good too? I love that. So that was basically it. I really feel led to make more videos to talk about different things. And I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I'm on my way to Mom's. I'm going to get the ink for the printer. And Chris is going to help me pull the names. He told me what he said on camera. I said, yeah. He goes, no. And then immediately he goes, if you want me to. So when I got my decks out today, I handle a lot of decks every day, especially on a day if I'm home and all that. But I rarely pull cards for myself because I mess around with the cards so much. It can get muddied if you think every time you pick up a deck and something falls out, it's a message for you. So I use to put together to process things or make stories or all different ways. But this morning I really just wanted a clear cut, answer. So I went to my Vivian Mayer deck. I made this one. Vivian Mayer is my favorite street artist and street photographer. And this is a deck that's a completely personal deck. As I got to know her work and found out about her, when I looked at these photographs, all I saw were tarot cards. So I made my own deck. It's being and this is completely personal because there's a lot of legal things going on about her works, who has the right to sell them, who gets the proceeds, because she wasn't discovered until after she passed. And it was all these rolls of undeveloped film, which they all haven't been developed yet. It's just fascinating. You should watch the documentary. There's a documentary about her too, I think. So I made this. I used one of her pictures as the back. I just printed on index paper and a laminator, a very light lamination. So a couple of my friends, Carla especially, when we do readings, they always want this deck because it's just black and white. So the issue was just it's something that it's ridiculous, but it's really moving on past that dark phase that I had. You know, I can sit here and think about all the things I could do today, but then I can sit here and just daydream and stay with my books and cards, which is why I've got to get the hell out of here and go be with my mom. But before, I procrastinated and pulled cards on it. And it's so funny because at the bottom, so I was like, okay, 3 cards. The bottom card, you know, you put them in order. So the bottom card is the thing I don't need to worry about. And I looked at that before the 2 cards that I drew, and it was the 10 of Swords. Duh, I don't need to worry about it because it's over. It's done. It's over. Like, well, great. But what do I do now? How do I move on? And the 2 cards I got were, it was the Ace of Swords, not only, but also the World, in that order. And so simple. It's funny. I asked the cards and the cards tell me exactly what I already know. This is a time for new structures, new constructs. The old ones don't work. They're gone. Thank God. But now it's time for me to set new ones, though. I have to intentionally set new ones and restructure my world and my patterns, you know, because what you think is what you do. So I have to reimagine how it's going to be and kind of set down new perimeters. And this is what I'm going to do now. And I have everything to gain. It's all right there. And it's easy, you know? So this just made it so black and white. I'm like, yeah, I already know. No big news there. It didn't enlighten me. It was just like, get off your ass and do it. So that's what I did this morning. And I think that's it. I'll be making the video either tonight or tomorrow, pulling the names. So I've got my deck here. I'm really getting moving on my deck, and I'm so happy. I've been having I don't know Photoshop that well. The initial deck is going to be one thing, but then as I make extra cards to go with it, like anything else, it'll show a progression, and that's one of the things I had to let go of. It's like, after I do the initial deck, if I'm like, oh, but this should have been the King of Swords, make another King of Swords and put it in an expansion pack. Don't drive yourself crazy over every single card. The first one just has to be what my gut tells me that card is, you know, right then, and as close to this deck as I can get. So I'm just gonna pull a couple cards. Since I pulled for me, we'll just do that. So what are our cards for today? Not to worry about the moon. I see the moon as a very positive card. It's not like all mystery and uncertainness and all that, uncertainty and all that. To me, the moon card is just lean into that. Lean into your dreams and intuitions, and as far as what not to worry about, don't second guess yourself. Maybe just lean into that today. And then the 2 cards, not only but also okay, where you got, don't worry about that, your intuition and all that, you know, moodiness and mystery. But then the cards are very practical and down to earth. They're both in the Pentacles, not only but also the 2 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. So what this is saying, your head may be in the clouds, and that's fine. You can have your head in the clouds. Okay, I got to get my ass going because this is also talking to me too. The 2 of Pentacles, I've got this. Balancing it all really well. And then the Queen of Discs, the duty fulfiller. So that's the message for today. Have your head in the clouds, put your feet on the ground, and do what has to be done and do it well and take pride in it and have a good time with it. Just because you're the practical person and you're getting things done and all that doesn't mean there is this side of you too that you need to tap into and pay attention to. This can also be a part of that. So, on that note, oh, there was one last thing. One last thing as we leave with these two cards in our head. Okay, I'm not going to bring up this deck every single time, but I have got to tell you that working with the Mary L rearranged is blowing my mind more than any deck. And the more I do it, there's layers of it. There's one card that I had to, well, two cards that I had to switch because I did a couple readings and it's all resonated great the way I rearranged them, except for two. It's right here. Okay, even though I love this as a death card, one of my favorite death cards, I picked another one for death card, and I put this at the Fool, and it seemed right. Okay, so the Fool's back at the Fool, and this is my world. I know that still seems like a weird choice, but it makes much more sense for me. The world, especially right now in my frame of mind and what I'm thinking. So what I found now that I've switched them, and I'd miscounted before, this means that 18 of the cards are the same, but the rest have changed. What I like though, because I had such an attraction to each of the cards just in different spaces, but I do have another deck where it still has the titles on there. I wouldn't have done this if this was my only deck. And even though I rearranged them, like this is my 8 of Cups now, and I think of her as Cleopatra, I know it's Justice and it's Isis, and that's still in the back of my head when I'm doing it. It's almost like a different layer, but the new associations that I gave the cards are working wonderfully, and it's just so amazing to be able to use this deck. The readings have been amazing. Like this gave me a quick message, and I don't have time, but I'm going to be doing a mother piece spread with this later tonight with a lot of intention, and I don't do that very often. And I've used this deck for different readings, but when I do that tonight, it will be one that I write down and I will sit with it for a while. When I do a mother piece spread, it's for a good while. We're talking like even a few months I'll be working with that layout. And I've done the mother piece spread before, but I did it with the Lioness Oracle deck. I don't know why I didn't do it with the mother piece cards, but I do plan very soon this weekend, now that I've got my camera with enough space on it and I can use it to tilt down and show the poker table. I want to do the mother piece spread with mother piece cards. And there's a walkthrough that I told Kelly Bear I do on the Tarot Illuminati like a year ago, and I never did it. I don't even know if she even uses that deck anymore. But there's certain videos I said I'd make, and I didn't get around to making them, and I have a list of them, and that is on the list to do. But I did want to mention that I did switch that death card again, and I put the Fool back in the Fool spot. But this has been the most amazing thing that's happened to me in a while, is being able to use this deck like I have. So, on that note, I will end it for now, but I will be back soon, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It was great catching up. I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Mwah.